Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh and we are going to continue the Satish Chandra series. So before that I want to tell you about the test series which is going on. The videos are out, 2 videos especially for mains full test series explained elaborately, showing evaluated papers, how we do the correction, the model answer sample and the schedule, prices, everything is done in detail. Okay, so we see students are still coming and asking or posting comments like what is the price or how to enroll, what is the procedure. Please check those videos before asking general queries. If it is something which is unanswered in the video, then we are happy to answer, but every time the same question keeps coming, so please watch those videos. The videos are again put in the description box under every video. Okay, under this video also the link will be there. So the sooner you enroll, it will be better for you because already students have enrolled, and on August 5th is the first test. Okay, morning and afternoon, so 2 tests you will have. So if you delay your enrollment, the problem is you will be getting the schedule little bit late, you will be getting the time to prepare also, like you will be getting less. Okay, so that is the drawback you will have. So even though the offer is open till August 2nd, the offer price, okay, the price also is like very different, not very huge variation, okay, after August 2nd also, but still if you enroll faster, you will be able to start preparing for that and dedicate yourself to that plan. Okay, so because it's a detailed 5-month study plan where you will study almost every textbook needed for this, and you will complete all the syllabus. Okay, not only studying, including the writing and getting it evaluated. Okay, so please check on that thing. So that's about the test series. Now we'll continue this chapter where it will be the last video of Akbar. Okay, the chapter Akbar, which we did like three parts we did, and we had done extensively about how he came to power, his expansion policies, his agriculture policies, administration, governance, the different terminologies which he has used for different positions in his kingdom. Okay, all these were done, and in the last video we also did about the policies with Rajputs. Okay, where Maharana Pratap, the Battle of Haldighati, all those things were there. Okay, so around 1570s, 1580s, that is the timeline now, and now we'll continue the final parts. Okay, final conclusion part, we can tell, where even the religious policies of Akbar will come. So this is the side heading we see, the rebellions and further expansion of Mughal Empire. So first, this side heading, actually these 2.5 pages are all not very important. Okay, it's all about the different people posted at different places, and then different places are coming under Akbar. Okay. Some terminology will be there important for prelims, that I will again stress and tell you. Okay, so the new system of administration introduced by Akbar, as described above, implied tightening of administrative machinery, greater control over the nobles, and more regard to the interest of the common people. So it was overall a very good administrative policy, which is a little bit strict for the nobles, but which is good for the people. Okay, common people. So it was therefore not to the liking of many nobles. Sentiments of regional independence were still strong, particularly in areas such as Gujarat, Bengal, Bihar, all of which had a long tradition of forming separate kingdoms. So this Gujarat, Bengal, Bihar, right, you can use it for any ruler. Okay, any medieval ruler, they had problems in these areas because the kings who were here always wanted separate kingdoms. Okay, so Gujarat, Bengal, Bihar, and also the Afghan region, you can tell, the Lahore, Multan, Kabul, all those places. Okay, always these problems were there for every ruler. Now in Rajasthan, Rana Pratap's struggle for for freedom was continuing apace. Okay, so again, this was, again, we already discussed everything about Rana Pratap, but still this also was going on in that timeline. So in this situation, Akbar had to deal with a series of rebellions. Gujarat remained in a state of unrest for 2 years due to a bid for freedom by a representative of the old ruling dynasty. The most serious rebellion during the period was in Bengal and Bihar, which extended to Jaunpur. So again telling same thing like Gujarat and Bengal, Bihar, so nothing much. But here the main cause of the rebellion was the strict enforcement of the dark system or branding of the horses of the Jagirdar and strict accounting of their income. Okay, so before Akbar's time, these were like nothing was accounted properly. Okay, but now it is strict accounting, and everybody, how much revenue, how much land to be given, everything was noted down. So that is why nobles were unhappy. Okay, dark system, very important. Okay, right from Alauddin Khilji's time to Sher Shah's time to Akbar's time, it is followed. Now the discontent was fanned by some religious divines who were unhappy at Akbar's liberal views and at his policy of resuming the large revenue-free grants of land which had been obtained by them, sometimes illegally. So again, the Muslim ulemas or all those people, okay, who had like too much land distribution and all those things which are even illegal. So Akbar had a liberal policy, and it was like everybody was treated equally, not any special consideration for these particular ulemas alone. So that is why that also created a hatred or an opposition, okay, to Akbar. Now Akbar's half brother, okay, so Mirza Hakim, the ruler of Kabul, also abetted the rebellion and held out the hope of invading the Punjab at the suitable time in order to help. A large number of Afghans in the eastern parts were sullen at the loss of the Afghan power and were ready to join a rebellion. So Afghan region also rebellion is happening. They are just mentioning here and there rebellions are happening, and people were opposing Akbar's thing or were not happy with how Akbar was treating them. Now It's not the common people, okay, it's all the nobles who is unhappy, okay. Now the rebellion kept the empire distracted for almost 2 years, okay, 1580-81, and Akbar was faced with a very difficult and delicate situation. Due to the mishandling of the situation by local officials, Bengal and almost the whole of Bihar passed into the hands of the rebels, who proclaimed Mirza Hakim as their ruler. Okay, so that side, in eastern side, this is what is happening. Mirza Hakim, the foster brother of Akbar, is being made as a ruler, and they even got a religious divine to issue a fatwa calling on the faithful to take the field against Akbar. So against Akbar, even a fatwa was issued. Okay, you know, these ulemas or the Muslim Orthodox people, they will be issuing this. Okay, if they want to do say anything against any person. Okay, so Akbar did not lose his nerve. He dispatched a force under Todarmal against Bihar and Bengal, and another under Raja Mansingh to check the expected attack by Mirza Hakim. Okay, Todarmal proceeded with great vigor and tact and brought the situation in east under control before Mirza Hakim's invasion took place. Okay, so eastern side, whatever was happening, Raja Todarmal was sent, and then he managed. Okay, not Raja, it's Todarmal. Okay, and Raja Mansingh was sent into the other place, somewhere else. Okay, so like this, two people were sent, and then it was brought under control. Okay. Now his hopes that large number of nobles in the Punjab would rebel and join him were belied. So he thought, Mirza Hakim thought he will get a lot of support from here and there, but it did not work, and finally it was ended. Now Akbar marched on Lahore with a well-disciplined force of 50,000 horses. Mirza Hakim had no opinion but to beat a hasty retreat. So it's like a defeat of Mirza Hakim. Okay, he'll keep coming on. His name will keep coming here. So Akbar crowned his success by marching to Kabul. Okay, the first time an Indian ruler has entered the historic town. So this is something important. Okay, first time an Indian ruler is entering Kabul is Akbar. Okay, now since Mirza Hakim refused to accept Akbar's suzerainty or to come to pay personal allegiance to him, and the Indian nobles and soldiers were becoming resistive, Akbar handed over Kabul to his sister before returning to India. So this thing, okay, because Mirza Hakim's problem is still there, Akbar will assign this to his sister. So this is one broad-mindedness of Akbar. Okay, if you see, women in Mughal and all were used only for matrimonial alliance or some any political reasons, but for the first time one ruler is assigning a province itself to him. Okay, that's about Mughal. Okay, before Mughals in Delhi Sultanate and all, there had been great emperors and all. Okay, women emperor were there. Now Akbar's triumph over his opponents was not only a personal success but also showed that the new system was beginning to strike roots. Akbar, now free to think of the further expansion of his empire, he was drawn to the Deccan, in which he had long been interested. Okay, so now because everything is under control or something, he wanted to explore the areas in Deccan, okay, south. But before he could do anything, the situation in the northwest claimed his attention again. So when he thought everything is over in northwest, another person will come up. Okay, this Abdullah Khan Uzbek, okay, who is an hereditary enemy of the Mughals, had been gradually gathering strength in Central Asia. In 1584, he overran Badakhshan or something. Okay, so this place actually, you can tell in the map, it will be around Afghan. Okay, North Afghan, where it is bordering with Tajikistan. Okay, Central Asia. So that north region, there this thing was happening. Okay, this fight between these two people, Mughals and Uzbek. So Kabul appeared to the next on the list. Both Mirza Hakim and the Timurid prince, ousted from this place, now appealed to Akbar for help. But before he could do anything, Mirza Hakim died due to excessive drinking. So before if anything had to be done, this person died due to drinking. Okay. Now Akbar now ordered Mansingh to march to Kabul. Okay, and himself moved to attack on the river Indus. In order to block all roads to the Uzbeks, he sent expeditions against Kashmir 1586 and against Balochistan. The whole of Kashmir, including Ladakh and Baltistan, called Tibet Khurd and Tibet Bazarg, came under Mughal domination. So again, if you see, there is nothing take away. Okay, it's like people are fighting with each other, they are taking areas, and this Akbar is like moving from here to there. Okay, but only thing is his Deccan policy got halted. That is what is the gist of this. Okay, so don't worry that these many place names and these many things you are seeing. Now here again, Raja Birbal, you know, Birbal is there, so his death will happen during one of this expedition, that is also mentioned here. Okay, and Afghan tribesmen were forced to submit. So again, victory for Mughals only. Okay, the consolidation of the northwest and the fixing scientific frontier of the empire was two of the major contributions of Akbar. So two important contributions of Akbar you see in terms of this expansion policies. One is consolidation of the northwest. You saw like everybody were contained and he got it. Another is forming a scientific frontier. Okay, a kind of a proper border, like this much to this extent Mughal empire is there. Okay, now his conquest of Sindh 1590 also opened the Punjab for trade down the river Indus. Akbar stayed at Lahore till 1598, when the death of Abdullah Uzbek finally removed the threat from the side of the Uzbek. So 1598, it's all over. Okay, that Uzbek also died. Okay, now after settling the affairs of the northwest, Akbar turned his attention towards the affairs of eastern and western India and the Deccan. Okay, so now again he is exploring new places. Orissa, which was at the time under the domination of Afghan chiefs, okay, that Sher Shah's continuity, Afghan chiefs, was conquered by Raja Mansingh, who was the Mughal governor of Bengal. Mansingh also conquered Cooch Behar and parts of East Bengal, including Dhaka. Okay, Mirza Aziz Koka, the foster brother, now another thing. Okay, conquered Kathiawar in the west. Khani Khan and Munim Khan was deputed to the Deccan along with Prince Murad. The developments in Deccan, I don't think we should read this itself. We are simply here one line I'll tell you. This is one first time that Mughals are into direct contact with the Marathas. Okay, because Mughal, you know, they are defeating everybody, and then their region will expand till Ahmednagar. Okay, near Gujarat, Maharashtra region. So that is why first time Mughals region is reaching till Marathas. Okay, later we'll see the Maratha story also. In Spectrum I already explained, but still the medieval side also we'll see. Now thus the political integration of North India had been achieved by the turn of the century, and the Mughals had started the penetration of the Deccan. But what was even more important, the cultural and emotional integration of the people within this vast empire had developed apace. So now all these things, these stories, which are not very important, are all political things. But the emotional thing, cultural integration, that is what is more important for your exam also, and that is what this textbook is going to deal with. So that is our final section for this chapter. So we'll see. Okay, 3-4 pages are there. So we'll see quickly. So towards integration, we have seen how during the 15th century a number of rulers in different parts of the country had tried to promote greater understanding between the Hindus and the Muslims by having secular and religious literature in Sanskrit translated into Persian, by giving patronage to local languages and literature, by adopting a more liberal policy of religious toleration, and in some cases by giving important jobs including service at the court and in army to the Hindus. You see, from here to here is one single sentence. Okay, so that is why it looked a little weird, but only thing you need to know is this: other than Akbar also many other kings were into the secular concept. Okay, they were translating textbooks or religious textbooks and all from Sanskrit to Persian, Persian to Sanskrit, and also into local languages, and it was given patronage by kings. So overall things were happening, good things were happening for liberalism. Okay, religious liberalism. So we have also seen how a remarkable series of popular saints such as Chaitanya, Kabir and Nanak. Okay, in this textbook we have not discussed, but in prelims, MCQs and all we have discussed in detail about these people. Okay, this is Bhakti, Sufi saints and all. So they were also emerging, and so this Hindu-Muslim unity concept was being praised, and it was spread across India. Okay, in South also a lot of things were there. So that and all we learn later. Okay, we deal with Bhaktism and Sufism. Okay, so it was full of devotion and a love for God and all those things. So this was the atmosphere in which Akbar was born and reared. So it's a general thing they are telling, okay, how it is at that time, 14th, 15th century, because Guru Nanak, Kabir and all are there. Now one of the first actions which Akbar took after he had taken power in his own hands was to abolish the poll tax of jizya. Okay, we already saw it. So again, this pilgrim tax. Okay, I'm not reading everything, it's same thing: jizya, pilgrim tax, then this holy places, whatever charges are there, all things were abolished. Okay, even forced conversion into Islam, that also abolished. So overall it's a liberal policy. Okay, pro-Hindu you can tell, but it's like the secular thing. Now the liberal principles of the empire were strengthened by bringing able Hindus into nobility. So that's also another aspect. Okay, the through marriage alliance, people will enter to Mughal premises or Mughal kingdom and all, like Man Singh, Bhagwan Das, all those people. So they were all given high positions. Okay, the Mansab ranking and the positions or the revenue, land, Jagirs, everything was given too much. So that's also one religious tolerance aspect. Okay, one is all these taxes abolished, and one is the positions given to the Hindu nobles. Okay, and even Birbal. Birbal is actually, his name is Mahesh Das. Okay, he is a Brahmin or something. So he was one of the favorite of the emperor. So that is also one reason. Now. And Todarmal is a revenue expert. Now, Akbar's attitude towards his Hindu subjects is closely linked with his views of how a sovereign should behave towards his subjects. These views, which have been carefully explained by Akbar's biographer Abul Fazl. Okay, so you see, all these are Navaratnas. Okay, Todarmal, Birbal, and Abul Fazl. Okay, so all these people now slowly they are introducing to us. Now, according to Abul Fazl, the office of a true ruler was a very responsible one, which depended on divine illumination. Okay, Far-e-izadi, that is one term you can remember this because UPSC has this habit of asking these kind of terms. Okay, what does it mean? So this is something like a true ruler. Okay, who is knowing how to behave with his people or how to maintain the full sovereignty. So that is Far-e-izadi. So hence, no one could stand between God and a true ruler. A true ruler was distinguished by paternal love towards his subjects without distinction of sect or creed, a large heart, so that the wishes of great and small are attended to, prayer and devotion, and a daily increasing trust in God. Again, I don't think you need everything, but this final line, okay, policy of Sulh-e-Kul. Okay, Sulh-e-Kul is like universal religion or universal peace, toleration, that kind of a common thing which Akbar devised. Okay, this is very important. UPSC have asked 2-3 times in prelims or mains, like what is this, or explain the religious toleration policy of Akbar. Okay. Now, from the beginning, Akbar was deeply interested in religion and philosophy. At the outset, Akbar was an Orthodox Muslim. So, generally, he was an Orthodox Muslim only. Okay, that he gave respect to this Qazi, okay, judge, this person, Abdul Nabi Khan, who held the post of Sadar, okay, this religious head kind of thing. So, these are all he had respect, but later, he was more into this mysticism because Sufism, everything was coming in. So, he was into mysticism, like closer contact with God and all those things. So, he changed from that Orthodox Muslim to a more liberal person. That is what they are explaining in this whole paragraph. Okay, this he waking up for morning prayer and going to Agra Fort, something. Okay, it's not very important, but only just what I told, that is what you need to know. Okay, this change from Orthodox Muslim to a more liberal person. Okay, here again Abul Fazl and his brother Faizi, these are two important persons again. So again some ideas, Mahadavi ideas, and this Mahesh Das, which I told, Raja Birbal. So all these people, everything same. Okay, there's no content to take away. These names and all anyway you have seen, that's all enough. Now 1575, Akbar built a hall called Ibadat Khana. So that is the next important thing. Ibadat Khana, or the hall of prayer at his new capital, Fatehpur Sikri. Okay, so this place, this Ibadat Khana related to Akbar. Okay, that is what students learn. But last year UPSC even went one step ahead and asked like whether these monuments or whatever is is prepared or it is created, constructed by red sandstone or marble. That specific level they asked. So that you would know only when you do the CCRT website, okay, culture website, or you have to do a good test series. Okay, our test series will be definitely covering all these places in depth, okay, with pictures and all. So that is one way. So two ways you have: either you do it yourself by doing CCRT, or get to a good test series where you will get these kind of terminologies and pictures and all ready made, like with prepared for you. Okay, you don't have to do the research. Now, so that is about that place. So this Ibadat Khana, it's like a hall of prayer where everybody can gather. Okay, but initially it was like only the intellectuals, and that too Muslims. Muslims alone were invited. Okay, that is this full paragraph. I am not reading it fully, but I'll tell you this gist of it. Okay, this full paragraph tells about like only these mullahs were invited, and first it was like full of fights, shouting, abusal. Everyone were not like, they were objecting each other. Okay, this Shia Sunni concept or whatever this Orthodox Muslim problems which they had, they were fighting. But later here Akbar opened the Ibadat Khana to people of all religions. Okay, Christians, Zoroastrians, Hindus, Jains, even atheists. Okay, with faith, without faith, everybody can come. Okay, then he tried to understand the meaning, like whether this Quran is the ultimate thing or Prophet Muhammad is the last person to come. All these things, right, which they have in their belief system, whether that is correct or is there any other truth beyond this. So that is what he is trying to understand. But finally, he will understand that every religion tells the same thing for peace and equality and all those things. So that is his realization, and that is how Sulli Kul is developing. Okay. Now here again that chief Sadar, we saw this person Abdul Nabi, who was found to be extremely corrupt and tyrannical in his dealings with the distribution of charitable lands. Okay, this is one more term, Madad-e-Mash. Okay, so this is charitable lands. Okay, you should know. 2-3 terms I already showed you. Please make a note of this. Okay, UPSC prelims questions can come. Now he had amassed wealth in other corrupt and mean ways. So again, same thing. Okay, he's a corrupt person, and so Akbar was against it. Brahmanas, Mathuras. At first, Abdul Nabi was sheared of the power, and Sadars were appointed in every province for distributing charitable lands. Soon he was dismissed, and in order to proceed to Mecca for Hajj. So this is one thing which Akbar always does. Okay, in the movie also it is shown. Anyone who he thinks is no longer required for the kingdom's goodness or something, he will send them to like take retreat and go to Mecca. Okay. At about the same time, 1570 and 80, a rebellion broke out in the east. A number of fatwas were given by the Qazis declaring Akbar to be a heretic. Akbar suppressed the rebellion and gave drastic punishment to the Qazis. Okay, so whoever is showing this intolerance or this fatwa concept or whatever, okay, who is not allowing peaceful coexistence of everybody, he will be taking strict action. That is Akbar's policy. To further strengthen his position in dealing with the mullahs, Akbar also issued a declaration or a mazhar which asserted that if there were conflicting views among those mujahids who were considered fit to interpret the Quran, Akbar, by virtue of being a most just and wise king and his rank being higher in the eyes of God than of the mujahids, was entitled to choose any one of the interpretations which would be of benefit of the nation and in the interest of the good order. Okay, so overall what is said is like there is a declaration kind of thing, okay, mazhar, which means that like there are people, this mujahids, who have the right to interpret the Quran. So everybody will have different interpretation, but Akbar will have the right to choose which is the best for the nation, okay, as a whole, the kingdom. Okay, so that declaration is called as mazhar. Okay, and it is for the benefit of the nation. So that is the full thing here. Now further, if Akbar issued a new order in conformity with the Quran and calculated to benefit the nation, all should be bound by it. So it is kind of a binding decision which Akbar can make. Okay, that is this MAHZAR, mazhar concept. Okay. Now the declaration which was signed by the leading ulamas has been wrongly called a declaration of infallibility. So infallibility means what? You cannot change it. Okay, it's like nothing against it. But Akbar here had the right. Okay, Akbar claimed the right to choose only when there was a difference of opinion among those qualified to interpret the Quran. So if any this thing is there, he has the right to change it or make a final decision. Okay. At a time when there was a bloody conflict between the Shias and the Sunnis and the Madhavis in different parts of the country, Akbar wanted the widest religious toleration. Okay, because it's not like within religions, it is like, I mean, against different religions, it's like in the same religion they had problems. So that is when Akbar wanted the most toleration to be held. Now, there's little doubt that the Mazhar had a salutary effect in stabilizing the religious situations in the empire. So it is like good for this thing. Okay, now, but Akbar was less successful in his effort to find a meeting place between the votaries of different religions in the country. The debates in the Ibadat Khana had not led to a better understanding between different religions, but to greater bitterness. Okay, so that whatever idea he had, it is actually failing. Okay, this Ibadat Khana concept. And the representative of each religion denounced the other and tried to prove their religion was superior to others. And in 1582, Akbar discontinued the debates in the Ibadat Khana, but he did not give up his quest for the truth. Even his bitter critic, okay, Badayuni is one critic, okay, he says, night and day people did nothing but inquire and investigate. So people were all trying to prove like their religion is best. Okay, so that is what is happening, and so Akbar's Ibadat Khana concept was a failure. Okay, and it was stopped. So that you should know, because UPSC will frame an opposite statement. So Akbar invited. So these are now 5-6 people names. Okay, this Purushottam and Devi is for Hinduism, Maharji Rana is for Zoroastrianism. Then Portuguese priest, here it's there, Aquaviva and Montserrat. This I remember in Spectrum also, in chapter number 1 I explained. Okay, these people went to Akbar's court and tried to change him to Christianity and all those things, but they failed. So like this, some people names are given here. I think one more is there. Yeah, Jain Saint. Okay, Jain Saint of Kathiawar, Hira Vijaya Suri. Okay, so just I don't know whether UPSC will go in depth and ask match the following for these people, but just 4 names so you can make in your notes. Okay, these 4 names are related to 4 religions. Okay, now contacts with leaders of various religions, reading of the learned works, meeting with Sufi saints and yogis gradually convinced Akbar that while there was difference of sect and creed, all religions had a number of good points which were obscured in the heat of controversy. So he is telling, in between all this controversy, actually there are goodness in every religion. Okay, and that is being skipped, that is being not spoken out. Okay, so he felt that if the good points of various religions were emphasized, an atmosphere of harmony and amity would prevail, which would be for the good of the country. Further, he felt that behind all the multiplicity of names and forms, there was but one God. As Badawini observed, as a result of all the influences which were brought to bear on his majesty, there grew gradually, as the outline of a stone, the conviction in the heart that there were some sensible men in all religions. Okay, so that is the conclusion which is coming up. Everybody has goodness in them, and there are some good people also in every religion. If some true knowledge was thus everywhere to be found, why should truth be confined to one religion? So that was his idea. Okay, if everybody has goodness in them, why are we telling like only our religion is good or ours is the best? Why should we keep proving it? We should take the goodness of everything and we should accept each other's thing. Okay, so Badayuni asserts that as a result of this, Akbar gradually turned away from Islam and set up a new religion which was compounded of many existing religions: Hinduism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism. So this is like a conclusion. Now, however, modern historians are not inclined to accept his view and think that Badawini has exaggerated. There is little evidence to prove that Akbar intended or actually promulgated a new religion. The word used by Abul Fazl and Badawini for the so-called new path was Tawheed-e-Ilahi. Okay, so we saw Sulhi-Kul was universal peace, and this Tawheed-e-Ilahi is this what is a universal religion kind of thing. All the religions' goodness he took and made a new religion. That is this Tawheed-e-Ilahi. Okay, which literally means divine monotheism. The word Deen or faith was not applied to it till 80 years later. The Tawheed-e-Ilahi was really an order of the sophistic type. Okay, those who were willing to join and those whom the emperor approved were allowed to become members. Okay, so it was like not like everybody can follow this path. Okay, Sunday was fixed as the day for initiation. The novice placed his head at the feet of the emperor, who raised him up and gave him the formula called Shast in Sufi language. Okay, so these terminologies, at least you should know like it's related to Sufism or it is related to Akbar's this tolerance policy. Okay, you don't need to by heart everything, but at least you should recollect when you hear these terms. Okay, this contained Akbar's favorite motto, this Allahu Akbar, or God is great. The initiates were to abstain from meat as far as possible, at least in the month of their birth, give a sumptuous feast and give alms on their birthday. There were no sacred books or scriptures, no priestly class, no place of worship. or rituals and ceremonies except the initiation. Okay, so these are the traits of it, and UPSC can put 4 statements and ask you, okay, no sacred books, no scriptures, no priestly class, no place of worship, or no rituals. Okay, no ceremonies, nothing. Okay, just like they will be doing good things, like they will be giving feast to all the people on their birth month or birthday or then that thing, and abstain from meat. So that's kind of things were followed in Tawheed-e-Ilahi. Now, Badawini says that the members had 4 grades of devotion: sacrifice of property, life, honor, and religion. These again were likely the grades of Sufi past. Grade a Sufi past. Okay, whatever Sufism they are following, that is what is followed in here also. Okay, giving up religion apparently meant giving up attachment to the narrow concepts and observance, which again was in keeping with the Sufi ideas. Akbar did not use force, nor was money used for making disciples. In fact, many leading nobles, including all the great Hindu nobles except Birbal, declined to join. Okay, so many great nobles did not join. Okay, the number of persons who actually joined the order was small, many of them consisting of personal favorites of Akbar. The order was not expected to play an important political role. In any case, by the time the order was instituted, Akbar had consolidated his internal position, and such an artificial prop was hardly necessary. What then were Akbar's motives? Okay, so this is what is like the historian is trying to tell. Like many things were happening, but it was like less in number and all those things. So what was actually Akbar trying to do? So historians have different views on this matter. Badawini ascribed it to Akbar's head being turned by many unworthy flatterers and panegyrists who suggested to him that he was the Insani Kamil. Oh, sorry, one more term. Okay, so Insani Kamil or Kamal, it's like the perfect man of the age. Okay, it was at their instant that Akbar initiated the ceremony of pabos, or kissing the floor before the sovereign, a ceremony which was previously reserved for God. Okay, so this is like he is like what is a symbolic representation of God itself. Okay, that is the level it reached when it's like Akbar's final years, you can tell. Okay, so Insani Kamil, perfect man, and pabos is the kissing of the floor before the sovereign. Okay, so this was actually long back, it was there. Okay, Sijda is there during the time of Balban. Okay, in slave dynasty. So things were there, but in different names. Now there were many precedents of ruler combining temporal and spiritual powers in their person, and Abul Fazl says that it was natural for people to turn to their ruler for spiritual guidance, and that Akbar was well qualified to lead the people to spiritual bliss and to establish harmony among varying creeds. So Abul Fazl is telling, like, even though it is like a godly gesture and all these things, spiritual thing, Akbar was well qualified to take up this role. Okay, he had the right to give spiritual guidance to people because he was such a just and fair person. Okay, that is what Abul Fazl is saying. So this whole textbook now we are seeing like in the light of 2 people. Okay, Badawini and Abul Fazl. Based on that only all these things are told. Whatever may have been Akbar's motives, the Tawheed-e-Ilahi virtually died with him. Okay, the practice of giving a shast to the initiates was continued for some time by Jahangir also, but soon it was discontinued. However, the habit of looking upon the king as someone having miraculous powers so that people could be cured by the king's touch or by his breathing upon a pot of water continued, and even a strict ruler such as Aurangzeb could not shake off his belief. Okay, so this Tawheed-e-Ilahi is like stopped after Akbar, but little portions of it was continued by Jahangir, but that also stopped. But this miracle thing, right, the spiritual guidance and this people person as God and all, that still continued even till Aurangzeb. So these are 3 different things at 3 different timelines. So that is very, very important. Okay, Tawheed-e-Ilahi, Shast, and this spiritual guidance. Akbar tried to emphasize the concept of Sulh-e-Kul or peace and harmony among religions in other ways as well. He set up a big translation department for translating works in Sanskrit, Arabic, Greek, etc. into Persian. Thus, the Singhanbatisi, the Atharva Veda, and the Bible were taken up first for translation. So these are first initial textbooks which are taken for translation in that translation place. Okay, these were followed by Mahabharata, Gita, and Ramayana. Okay, these were also asked in prelims ones. Okay, like which all is translated and in what name it is translated. Many other, including the Panchatantra and works of geography, were also translated. The Quran was also translated perhaps for the first time. Okay, so these are things which happened under Akbar. Akbar also introduced a number of social and educational reforms. He stopped sati, the burning of a widow, unless she herself or of her own free will persistently decided. Widows of tender age who had not shared the bed with their husbands were not to be burnt at all. Widow remarriage was also legalized. So all the social reforms which we later learn in this Raja Ram Mohan Roy time and all, these are all happening in Akbar's time itself. Okay, so Akbar was against anyone having more than one wife unless the first wife was barren. The age of marriage was raised to 14 for girls and 16 for boys. Okay, see here it's like 14 and 16. Even later when you learn this Bal Gangadhar Tilak story and all, age of consent bill and all, that is I think 12 years for girl. Okay, so that is like, so this is much more far advanced than what is yet to come or what is there in Hindu tradition that time. Okay, so these are the good things you can quote for Akbar's policies. The sale of wines and spirits was restricted. Not all these steps were, however, successful. as we know, the success of social legislation depends largely on the willing cooperation of the people. Akbar was living in the age of a superstition, and it seems that his social reforms had only limited success. Okay, so that is why people, as I told, it's like far more advanced than his time. Okay, in his time it was like full superstition, black magic, and people were all believing in these religious leaders, not like any social reforms. So Akbar was having limited success because of these people. People were not willing to change. So Akbar also revised the educational syllabus, laying more emphasis on moral education and mathematics, and on secular subjects such as agriculture, geometry, astronomy, rules of government, logic, history, etc. So there is nothing which he has not touched upon. Okay, that's the gist of all these things. He also gave patronage to artists, poets, painters, and musicians. So much that his court became famous for the galaxy of famous people there, or the Navaratna. Okay, this and all in revision charts in my MCQs in detail about each of the Navaratna is explained in detail. Okay, so please enroll to the courses so that you get the correct thing which is needed for UPSC. Okay, this lecture we are doing only so that you get a familiarization to this topic and you know the story. Okay, but in depth for exam sake you have to enroll to good courses, and we are offering the best for history and all the other subjects. Okay, so please enroll. Now thus under Akbar the state became essential, secular, liberal, and enlightened in social matters, and a promoter of cultural integration. So this exact statement, no, this is what UPSC will pick up. Like under Akbar, the state became a secular, liberal, enlightened, or in this thing, cultural integration, elucidate. Same sentence they'll pick it up and they'll put a word, discuss, elaborate, elucidate, explain, critically analyze. This is what UPSC does. Okay, this full chapter is what is your answer. So you have to know how to make it in that 250 word answer thing, and that is why answer writing is also open by us. Okay, so teaching we will do, practicing you have to do, but we will guide you. Okay, now again few questions, if you want you can see this MCQs anyway, I'll show you. Okay, this one you just pause and see. Okay, because these are also good questions which UPSC can ask. Okay, this Mansabdari system, its features, nobility problems, chief officers, Akbar's policy towards Rajput. It's actually the different videos which we done. Okay, same thing, Akbar's religious ideas, explain the concept of Sulli Kul. Okay, this thing in UPSC it is asked. Okay, this directly it is asked. So you should know all these things. Okay, Akbar's political unification will come only for history optional, not for GS paper. But this culture part, everything can come for GS as well. Okay, so I think I have 1 minute. I'll show you some MCQs as well. Which of the following was part of were part of Akbar's Navaratna? Okay, Hamim Humam, Sheikh Mubarak, Abdul Rahim, Raja Man Singh, and Bairam Khan. Okay, if you know it, tell me in comment section, or if you do it incorrect also, we'll tell you the answer. Okay. The Akbarnama, a history of Akbar's reign, mentions kingdom Gar Katanga. Okay, multiple times I have told you this. So that had 70,000 villages. This is related to whom? Okay, this Mundas, Gonds, Santals, or Gadkaris. Okay, you have to tell me that. Then this again, I think in the third video we have seen this different systems. Okay, revenue system in farming. So assessment type Batai or Galabakshi system under Akbar. Okay, so which of the following is matched correctly? That okay, whether all the three or anything is wrong. Okay, Bawali, Khet Batai, and Lang Batai. Okay, it's given, the description is given. You have to tell whether anything is wrong. So that is the thing. I think we will show more MCQs in. It's already shown, I think. Okay, more Akbar related MCQs are there in sample MCQ and all. So please watch it. So I'll come up with the next video soon. Come up with the feedback so that we know whether we need to continue this. Okay, because it takes a lot of effort to read through this old textbook and explain you each and every line. Okay, this is very lengthy. You know, like how Satish Chandra is writing. It's very historical kind of writing. It's not very user friendly writing. So it takes time. Okay, so tell me your feedback so that we can continue. Thank you and have a nice day.